Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, you're going to be listening to a sleep hypnosis session that was created for a client that was having difficulty sleeping following the aftermath of two significant life events. One was the passing of her husband that had happened before, and also then getting over quite a serious life-threatening illness. And a combination of those two things had enabled her to reach a point where she could sleep but get very interrupted sleep. So what you're going to hear in this hypnosis session is the overall ethos, the overall suggestion of feeling safe and protected and looked after. It tapped into a holiday, a vacation location that she could remember sleeping very well, but also the idea that the person that she was with, her husband, was there with her. And it didn't have to be a literal belief that he was actually there, but just the energy and how she would feel if that was the case, to create a safe feeling of being able to sleep well. And in many ways, you can imagine that this belief then activates a part of the subconscious mind that can alert her if she was in danger, for example. But outside of that, the sensitivity to noises or things outside would be reduced so that she can actually sleep well and sleep properly. If you're listening to this, some of the suggestions might be useful to enable you to get a good night's sleep. But of course, this was created for an individual client, and a lot of these suggestions are tailored to them and their circumstances. So if you are interested in working with me to help you sleep better, there will be a link in the show notes to arrange a free consultation call. For now, though, you might find that this is a helpful session. Most sessions I recommend that you don't listen to in bed, because it's quite useful not to fall asleep when you're listening. This is an exception because it's designed to help you fall asleep. So there isn't actually an awakening at the end of this. There isn't the kind of the outro of the audio. It's designed to either get you thinking about sleep in a positive way if you're not ready to sleep, but equally it's quite a handy one to listen right before you go to bed. So ideally, find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed, perhaps your own bed. Relax and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in, just imagine breathing in a resourceful feeling of relaxation. And as you exhale, just allow any feelings of worry, stress, or tension to leave your body in your outward breath. As you breathe in and breathe out, just allow a feeling of calmness and tranquility to go in through your nose, filling your lungs, and allow your heart to take that feeling of calm, tranquility, and distribute it to every cell in your body. And I want you to get the sense that your body knows where you're storing any feelings of stress or tension. So as you breathe in that resourceful feeling of relaxation, just scan your body for any clues of tension. Maybe tightness in the jaw, muscles, forming an expression in your forehead. Maybe just rigidity, arms, legs, neck or shoulder. And as you breathe in and breathe out, just allow any tension to melt away. And as it melts away, I want you to get the sense that it's leaving your body in your outward breath. So simply by breathing in and breathing out, you can feel deeper and deeper relaxed. As your body relaxes, your imagination awakens, as it often does. Because when the brain waves shift from alpha to beta, sometimes on their way to theta, it becomes easier to think inwards. Those external senses like sight and sound become more noticeable from things like memories and just ideas about the future. And I want you to think back to a time when you were on holiday, on a vacation, where you had an amazing night's sleep. I want you to imagine you're going back in time and just watching that version of you prepare to get ready to sleep. See the age you were at that time. What was happening? Notice that you can breathe in and breathe out nice and calm, and you're just observing a version of you that effortlessly slept. Maybe there were things that you did before you actually went to sleep. Maybe it was a warm bath. Maybe a warm drink. Or maybe just a state of complete calmness and relaxation where there wasn't any overthinking. And maybe that version of you was connected to their body. And you can see that children know how to be connected in their body. They can hear music and just start dancing. And maybe you can see yourself back then as connected, that you were breathing in a slow, rhythmic way. A lack of obsessive, intrusive thoughts, just going with the flow, and maybe, as many people do when they're on holiday, just pause any problems, stresses and worries and just be how they are in that moment in time. And I want you to see a version of you that almost as soon as that head touches the pillow, starting to relax, starting to access that state of drowsiness, sleepiness. And I want you to shift perspectives. So you're no longer observing that version of you. I want you to imagine you're in your body, imagining your head on a pillow. And maybe you can remember the temperature of the room back then. If there was a breeze, maybe going through an open window, maybe you can feel it. If the air was fresh, maybe remember that. And maybe there was a background noise, and maybe there was the sound of someone else sleeping nearby. I want you to remember what you remember back then, at a time where it was effortlessly easy to sleep. And I want you to get a sense that your eyelids are getting heavier and heavier, that there's a desire to yawn, that all the tension around your neck and your shoulders are just melting away. Arms and legs just feel limp, loose, heavy, like the limbs of a puppet with no strings. I want you to imagine that any remaining tension in your body is like frozen muscle tissue. Because every now and then, maybe you've taken something out of a freezer to cook later and it's been rock solid. But even just the room temperature is enough to melt that tension away. And I want you to imagine that you feel that's what's happening to you. Imagine tension as kind of frozen muscle tissue and it's just melting away, giving you a sense of feeling so deeply relaxed now. Feeling like your head on the pillow, and also feeling that in this environment you feel relaxed and you feel safe. As you imagine your head on the pillow, feeling more and more relaxed, I'm going to give some suggestions to your unconscious mind as to how to think about sleep, to activate powerful, positive resources inside, so that in the future, whenever your head touches the pillow, you will activate certain belief systems and ways of thinking to enable you to feel so deeply relaxed. As you imagine laying there in bed, just feel a deep sense of relaxation washing over your body, soothing every muscle and releasing any tension. I want you to imagine that you've got the ability to create a peaceful sanctuary in your mind. No matter what's happening outside, in your mind you can create a place where you feel completely safe, calm, and at ease. You notice your breathing, and each breath you take fills you with this feeling of tranquility, allowing your mind to quiet down and prepare you for a deep, restful, rejuvenating sleep. And however you do it, you're able to release any worries or concerns of the day, setting the intention that this is your time to relax and recharge. Whenever you feel your head on the pillow, you will feel you're in a haven of peace and comfort, surrounded by a soothing and serene atmosphere that promotes deep sleep. And that safe feeling that you have means that you can trust in your body's natural ability to find that state of deep relaxation and sleep, allowing it to guide you effortlessly into a restful slumber. Sometimes things happen in life that can interrupt the connection we have with ourselves, but you've slept amazingly many times in your life. And I want you to feel that you're reconnecting that harmony between your body and your mind, so that whenever you need to, you can gently transition into a state of complete calmness and tranquility. Feel how you would feel with that head in that pillow. Imagine positioning your body in a way that enables you to feel completely relaxed. And perhaps back then you felt that you were safe and protected because someone was there with you. And I want you to imagine that you feel what it feels like to be safe, to be protected, to be connected. And that you could feel that even with your eyes closed. Feel that safety inside you. Feel that calmness inside you. Feel that someone is there with you to keep you safe, and to protect you, enabling you to have such deep, rejuvenating sleep that you can wake up the following morning full of energy and alertness, knowing that you are protected, watched over, guided. And sometimes in life there are clues that someone is there with good intentions for you, wanting to let you know they're there. Some people call it serendipity, good fortune. But you can think of it as clues. That might be coins that you find, or it could be certain animals, or it might be other things. Clues that someone is there to keep you safe, to let you know that they're there with you. It's good that your mind is clear and focused during the day, but it's also important that your mind is free to just sleep and wonder in the evening. Because the better you sleep, the more energy and alertness you have the very next day. Because that feeling of hypervigilance is only necessary if you are unsafe and unprotected. But I want you to make the evaluation that you are safe because you are protected. That someone that loves you and cares for you deeply is there to keep you safe. They don't have to be there physically. It can be the memory of them, the energy of them, just acting as if they're asleep right next to you is enough for your mind to make the evaluation that you are safe and protected. And as you create that evaluation, I want you to imagine there is a sensitivity dial as to how vigilant you need to be, and I want you to see that that dial is set to very sensitive, very vigilant, maybe even hyper-vigilant. And I want you to imagine turning that dial all the way down, but not to zero, because you would want it that your unconscious mind awakes you if your life is in danger. But outside of that, you'd rather your unconscious mind deals with any thoughts, worries, or evaluations about noises, and you can just enjoy the sleep. Sleep cycles change at different ages in life, but I want you to accept that you easily transition into the different sleep cycles, effortlessly moving from light sleep to deep sleep, and that your body naturally stays asleep until the morning. There's no need to wake up in between these sleep cycles. Better that you trust your unconscious mind, your guardian, your protector, to deal with these things, as your physical body can just enjoy deep, rejuvenating sleep. As you trust in the natural rhythm of your sleep, because your body knows how to regulate itself and to provide you with that deep, uninterrupted sleep all the way until morning. And when you wake up, at that point, if there's any insight that you needed to know, it will come to you in a thought or an idea, and you will consider that idea when you're awake but not need to do it while you're sleeping. There are certain things that you do in life that you do them when you decide to do them. Just because you get an email doesn't mean you have to open it straight away. If a letter comes through the post, it's totally fine to leave it there on the side and you open it when you're ready. And that is also the case with thoughts. Even if there is an important thought that comes to you at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, it can wait until when you're awake. Time when you have energy and clarity to deal with in a way that actually helps you. And I want you to imagine you're no longer in this holiday place, this vacation bed. I want you now to imagine that you're in the bed that you normally sleep in. And you can still imagine what it would feel like to have someone that is protecting you and keeping you safe sleeping right next to you. Your mind knows how to act as if they're there, making the same noise as they would do if they were right next to you. And they don't have to be there physically, it's the essence of them that is there to keep you safe and keep you protected, and to alert you if you need to be alerted. But now that sensitivity dial is all the way down. There aren't many things that would need to wake you from that slumber. Continue to breathe deeply in and deeply out, and say to yourself, I am safe, I am protected, and my body will give me the sleep that I need. And just feel like you're drifting off into a deep, deep sleep. You have that desire to yawn, releasing any tension, feeling so drowsy. And I want you to imagine you're there in your bed right now, just about to doze off, but feeling what it would feel like that you are safe, protected, and able to have good quality rejuvenating sleep. And if you're listening to this recording at a point where you need to wake up, I will count from 1 to 10 and you can wake up. But if you're listening to this recording at a time when it's better to drift off into a deep, relaxing sleep, then as I count from 1 to 10, you have permission to drift off into a deep, safe, rejuvenating sleep. Feeling connected to your rhythm of breathing, feeling drowsy. When I count from 1 to 10, you can awaken if you choose to, or drift off to sleep if you'd prefer, starting to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10.